In the 90s, Playmates Toys made the deepest line of Star Trek action figures in history. My name's Keith, and I'm a collector working towards owning all 284. I've been a Trek fan for almost 35 years, and most people are sick of me talking about it. But somehow I've convinced my old friend Mike to review them with me on Look at My Star Trek Toys! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Look at My Star Trek Toys, a little show where Mike and I look at Star Trek action figures, Star Trek playsets, and customized figures and playsets. We have done a whole mess of episodes, a lot of them on the Playmates 1990s style and into contemporary things, but we're also branching out into other figures of Star Trek world, other Star Trek toys, lots of stuff like that. But Mike, today,
if it's cool, Keith, we'll look at it. I think that's the new rule for me. I mean, yes.
I think that's fair.
I know where we started, but where we're going, I think, well, to be honest,
who knows?
Who knows where we're going? I was trying to come up with a specific...
The final frontier.
Yes.
We're seeing what's out there. That's what's happening, Mike. But today, we have to do something important. And that is, we have to welcome the other side of the sci-fi universe today.
We got to cross the aisle, Keith.
We're gonna cross the aisle. We are going to cross over because today we are looking at an amazing ship that exists half in the Star Trek universe and half in the Star Wars universe. So welcome anybody who showed up here as a Star Wars fan, curious about what the heck we're about to talk about today, from a very talented artist and designer, Charles Babbage.
George Lucas. What? Wait,
yeah, George Lucas, are you here? Okay, Mike, you're going to regret having done that because it is time to introduce our patrons who you can join at patreon.com/K&M, spell out that and, to get all sorts of fun bonus episodes and material. We review episodes of Star Trek that are not part of our Deep Space Nine show, which you should also be watching, and AMAs and a whole bunch of other nonsense. But Mike is going to read our list of patrons as George Lucas.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm Brian Kaufman here. Casey Clark. We're going to need to CGI in a Jason Moe.
Oh my God, George is here.
Bren Joshua. Maybe we can make him Jar Jar Binks type of scenario. Andrew Hayes. Jorge Navoa. If he could show me those toonies, a couple billion of them, perhaps. And the mysterious Worf's boot shivs, Richard Coleman. Charles Babbage. Is this good, Lucas? I don't know. It's not particularly good.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's here.
CRM Productions. I don't know why you keep making me do impressions. Nikolai Ivanovich Lobachevsky at Grim_Toy Solutions at noon. JD makes Colin Skywalker, Chris Mitchell, CRM Productions, and of course, Obi-Wan Pat.
Okay, well, you're welcome, America. We're trying to welcome in the Star Wars fans, and then we do that.
I'm hearing that Disney gave us a strike just for mentioning Star Trek,
for having too flawless an impression that that he was actually here. All right, so So
if you'd like to donate $4.6 billion to the podcast, like Disney did to Lucasfilm, you can do so at patreon.com/K&M. We got lots of other good stuff. Yeah.
Leave a little super thanks below here on the YouTubes. And you can give us a like and a subscribe. And if you're new here, we also do an episode review of Deep Space Nine. Every single episode, we get into it for over an hour and a half.
90 minutes,
single episode. For sure. We also have a show called K&M Geekly, where we talk about all things geek.
Keith, we're coming up on all the summer movies. And I've made a pact to go to every blockbuster this summer, and I'll be reporting back to you because you won't do that.
I sure as hell won't. That's right. I'm still stuck in my basement watching shows from the 80s because that's what I do proudly. All right, so let us show what our entire episode is
Okay.
about. Because our good friend Charles Babbage, patron Charles Babbage, and a incredibly talented artist who works for Michael Curry Design, who has worked on the Broadway designs of The Lion King and Beetlejuice, as well as a whole bunch of other things. A actual professional, super great
This just in
artist out there.
still has not gotten me out an audition for either show.
I don't believe he has the power to do that.
I
But
do
has
believe. I believe in you.
No. Everybody thinks anybody who has ever like seen a Broadway show
Keith,
can get them
you
in a Broadway
don't
show.
know what's possible. Charles can do it all. We've seen it here.
He's been working for Michael Curry Design for 15 years and an art director there for 13 of them. And he has created, based on a little internet meme that we will show later, decided to make it reality, the USS Falcon. Essentially, the Falconprise.
Wow,
Which-
that's cool.
It is the Millennium Falcon as a Starfleet ship.
How do I get that?
I have a story about that.
I've got room for it right there.
Yeah, well, you know, it's
Can you buy it?
sold.
Can we buy it?
It has been sold, sir. It is owned by somebody else. So here's what he said. The inspiration for this model came from a cartoon I happened across while online one day. I immediately thought it would be fun to build and not too difficult. Well, for you. I decided to run with the concept and make it look like something possibly out of the TOS animated series. This model started off as a classic AMT original series Enterprise model. I used regular sheet styrene to alter the proportions of the saucer section and add the forks to the front. But most of this model is simply reworking the original AMT kit. Not really. Once we see some of the behind the scenes, it is unbelievable. The base is a combination of 3D printed plastic and water jet cut aluminum, or aluminium for our friends across the pond. I painted the kit with Tamiya paints and used the decals from the stock kit, just cutting up and modifying as needed. The panel lines were done with a pencil. Here's the sad part, Mike. I ended up donating the kit to a friend so he could auction it off to raise money for a project. He managed to get $500 for it, which I think is a steal. Hope you enjoy it. All right, so let's just... And after we look at it, we can also get into... We have some great behind the scenes, how he created this. But just...
Do I have those?
You do. They're in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so look at the paint job. And it is seamless. When you see how he built it, the seamlessness of this creation is really going to blow your mind.
Well,
Because you...
first, I think it's... I want to what's kind of blowing my mind right now, so I'm having it trouble articulating, is first, just like how specific and cool both art direction teams for both movies or both IPs should be credited, because upon the first slide when we pulled over, I instantly recognized the silhouette of the Millennium Falcon. It's
Right.
iconic. And yet, once you told me it was a mashup, and I see the nacelles and I see the font on top, the Enterprise silhouette is equally iconic. And so to be able to merge them is... So that's credit to that creative team, those creative teams.
Yeah.
But then the creativity for Charles to find a way to blend them and not... I mean, it's like a perfect... You know, you ever look at kids and you're like, wow, that baby looks like the perfect ratio of mom and dad.
Yeah.
That's what this looks like to me.
And it feels so, you know, as somebody like, you know, I'm a Star Trek fan primarily, but not at the exclusion of Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I really enjoy Star Wars. Like, I'm not one of those like, you can only like
Yeah.
one. That can only... No, I love them both. And so this ship here feels like it's tapped into my childhood. It's like literally tapped into like all the things that I loved as a kid. and mashed them all together. And it's flawless.
Even
It
the
is absolutely
stand, the sort of
flawless.
motion of the stand gives it propulsion almost.
I mean, it's so beautifully done. It could be a shooting model. Um, yeah, I mean, but to so effectively combine these two franchises, the two iconic sci-fi franchises of our time,
Hmm.
and to have it be so seamlessly, so beautifully put together, so that you know, how do you do this without one dominating the other?
Hmm.
Right? It is every bit both, all at the same time. It's really, really cool. Let's take a look at how he put this together. So you can see. So this is the inspiration, right? So he just saw that little meme and turned it into. It made it a reality. And so this is the old AMT model kit that he used. Looks like that's probably back from the 70s, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
I'd have to look that up. But so basically, he took these two things and created the Falconprise. Um, so we'll see. Mike's pulling up the rest of the pictures here because they're giant. So here's how he started. Right? It's so like, how do you go from that rudimentary couple pieces of plastic to the final version? I don't understand.
And
You
also,
see
it's the lack of any sort of texture here. But then on the model,
no
there's
texture.
so much texture
Oh, endless texture. Oh, well,
and
and that's the
shading
incredible
and
paint.
yeah.
It's got like it's even like the little. You have the perfect paint of the Federation ships with a little bit of grunge that you
Mhm.
get from Star Wars in the paint there as well. And
You
it
know, there's
looks
a
so
whole separate
rudimentary.
team. There's a whole separate team. I was watching this guy who used to work for ILM, and he was saying that the model design and the paint design is all separate from. There are people who just go in and just stress it, right? They just
Yeah,
stress the props, they just stress the paint jobs and stuff, and that's adds that bit of authenticity.
yeah. Well, it gives it a lived in feel that is iconic to the at least the first trilogy of Star Wars, and the newer stuff has been able to get that back. But he literally just like cut into the saucer section, put the nacelles in, and then with foam created the two front pieces there. Uh,
So that kit
the
number, Keith, just for the sake of uh,
science, because we're
thoroughness, yeah,
scientists here.
it is
Yeah,
1975, and let me tell you, the kit itself goes for about $190, $200 just to get that kit.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure because it's a classic. Uh, wow. I mean, it's crazy to think that it starts out in a rudimentary shape and then becomes so. I mean, these are art. I mean, Charles is a professional artist. I mean, like, of course, but it still blows my mind.
the base is
And you
super
can
cool
see
too.
here, just in the flat gray, that he's been able to integrate all the pieces together utterly seamlessly. And then as you start layering in, so this is like before the distress comes in, before the pencil work. uh God, it's kind of breathtaking, really. And here you can see painting the nacelles. I mean,
That's all I
so
have.
yeah, that's it.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
so
cycle
then
back though.
you cycle back there to the finished work. I mean,
And you never even
everything
think
about
about
it
it
is
because
flawless.
the Enterprise is so specifically three-dimensional. You think of it in those three tiers, right?
Yeah,
But really, from top down, from bird's eye view, it really is. The dome, that sort of
the
spherical
bridge.
dome. Yeah,
Yeah,
the bridge is very much the silhouette that you're used to when looking, which matches the. It's so right.
that's perfect. It's
Yeah.
utterly flawless. And I know that like anybody watching this, anybody who would be watching this wants one. I
Yeah.
guarantee you,
Salivating.
anybody here saying this wants this. And I don't even think it could be commercially produced because of the IP issues. Um, but whoever got that for $500, I bet there are people watching here who would happily pay twice that for this.
Oh yeah.
So
I'd actually love to see that in like a die cast. Like, give me like a real like hardy statue, you know?
oh, I want exactly
I
this
mean, I want
on
that,
my bookshelf
but I can't
behind
have
me.
that. So now I'm just like,
No, we can't have that.
no.
Yeah, so Charles Babbage is the artist on this. Whew, phenomenal,
Keith, and he is
phenomenal work.
to think Charles is a patron of our show.
Craziness. Craziness.
We are a patron of you, sir.
Yeah, I know that's entirely backwards. Cycle through the pictures one more
Sorry,
time
I got carried away just looking at that.
because I mean the paint job on the nacelles themselves to have all of that depth of shading of the colors there. It's so cool. The yellow pot. I think the dome is transparent for the bridge. Is that true? Go back one. It looks like it's the bridge. The dome up there is transparent.
It's, you know, all of our customs, all of our creators, everyone, from no matter how you do it, clay, paint, 3D print, whatever your medium is.
Yeah.
It just makes me smile because, Keith, I'm a grown man now, and to this day I get nervous, like butterflies in my stomach, when I have to make a cut in paper. I'm not good at following lines. If I don't have a direct, that's why Legos appeal to me, because they tell you exactly what to do step by step. If I don't have those guide rails, it ain't for me. So to just tackle a project like this, or to just see a character on a screen and say, "Hey, there's no figure of this. How can I cobble it together?" is just, it's just magical to me. I love this.
And it's interesting, you know, that we're both in the arts and we both compose music, which is kind of that, but the physical medium changes it for me. Like, there's that I don't have a crossover there.
I had a biology teacher. I was doing like a report. It was long, and I was trying to do some creative artwork. So I tried to do some fonting, and it was like I was trying to create my own font. Long story short, he gave me a D because my artwork was so bad, my font work was so bad that he thought I was just screwing around, like that I had put no effort into it. And Keith, I'm telling you right here, my hand to God, I really thought I was being creative and avant-garde. And he was just like, "You're clearly just phoning this in, D." That's how terrible I am at the physical arts.
And apparently your teacher was an asshole.
He was an asshole. He was an asshole, and still is to this day, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I as somebody raised by public school teachers, I have profound respect for teachers, public teachers, private, whatever it is, and I will have your back in every possible situation. But you have such power, you have such responsibility. A good teacher is a hero. A bad teacher is an abomination. Anyway, blah blah blah. I don't know where I went there, but let us just take a second to admire the base there. That's aluminum.
Is that not part of the kit?
No. That base is water jet cut aluminum.
See, that's awesome.
So he literally used custom cut that base.
Keith, you're at a loss for words.
I'm genuinely at a loss for words. Charles, thank you.
Look at his workshop too. His workshop's very neat. Charles is a pro.
Yeah, no, that does not look like my workshop in any way, shape, or form. Anyway, phenomenal work. Thank you all for stopping by to check out the Falconprise. It is really, really something. So if you have something cool you want to send to us, you can do it at lookatmystartrektoys@gmail.com. It comes straight to me. I look at it. I love what everybody sends, and maybe you'll get on the show too. Super, super cool. So thank you all for watching this very special episode of Look at My Star Trek Toys. Check out our Deep Space Nine show. Check out K&M Geekly. You can join our Patreon at patreon.com/K&M. And we'll be back here next week with a new episode of Look at My Star Trek Toys. And you know what it's going to be? I don't know yet because I haven't built it. But we'll see you.
It'll be cool.
Then.
It'll be cool.
Until then, this has been Look at My Star Trek Toys!
Keith, I pre-swooped.
That's fine. It's fine. You know, it happens to everybody.